try as they might, BiG just weren't good enough when it came to overpass, and it's about to get a whole lot worse for them as they move across to Mousesports, one of their main maps, Mirage. And I have to feel this may be over before it really begins, to be honest.
Yeah, it does sound very, doom and gloomish, very, very negative, Nancy, in regards to the BiG, but felt like overpass was their big chance, really, to get this done and actually bring it to a third map. I haven't seen enough of BiG in terms of, positive things on Mirage to actually feel that they can actually topple a team like Mousesports, especially with the way Mousesports have been trending. They've been trending upwards for quite some time now. BiG on their end have kind of been going downwards and downwards. Last really good showing I saw from them was probably back in Greece, and that's starting to become a while ago. So it does leave you quite worried for the German side. As for, a bit of a lighter note, Mousesports looking very well, and they're very good. I mean, they're playing solid CS. Everybody on their side is contributing in a big way, and that's how we like it. And that's what they need as well if they want to have the hopes of eventually winning the tournament. And I did kind of pick them as my small favorite to actually go all the way. So hoping that this continues.
It's true, you did. Yesterday, I poked you about it, and you said you thought Mousesports would have what it takes to go the distance. So definitely have to see if that's the case. But yeah, I think Mirage is going to be a very difficult, steep hill for BiG to climb up. But at least they're not going to get as wrecked as Scrawny just did.
No, that's going to take some effort, actually. It did look like it, though, that they were going toe for toe initially. We saw Mousesports getting off to a really hot start. And who knows? I mean, they did cut off the 1v1 at 10-1 in favor of Pimp. But, as we know, it's first to 11. So for all we know, Scrawny could have tied it up. In my mind, that's what happened.
Seems legit.
Yeah, seems about as likely. Yeah, no. No, but A for effort. I mean, Scrawny, definitely had the trash talk going. He wasn't phased at all.
Some of Pimp's lines were brutal, man.
the Canada one?
What was it, like low skill, low life or something? I don't know what he said, but that was right to the feels.
Yeah, no, they're going at it, there's some competitive instinct kicking in right there. But, all friends, of course. Still mates. It's all good. And we'll see how friendly these two teams will be with each other after this bout is over. Obviously, we mentioned the fact that Gabi feels like he has something to prove, obviously, going up against former teammates, someone in his old home, really, in Mousesports, a very long tenured player for that organization. And obviously wants to showcase his best side.
I don't know if I like seeing people giving each other cables and stuff. That may not bode well for us starting this anytime soon.
Just for the fun, just like rearranging the cables between the headsets of his players. It's like, yeah. It's like, Sunny, you're going to get like Chris J's sound. Or like swap things over. Just make things interesting.
Apparently they're trying to fix a microphone. So fingers crossed. It won't take too long. But okay, so the past in the past. BiG have just got to dust that off and say fair enough, whatever.
Yeah.
Go through into Mirage. Who for you has to perform on BiG here? Who's the main guy, the main culprit?
It's a boring answer, but tabseN. But I guess we can twist it around a little bit. I'm assuming tabseN is going to perform regardless. So, seeing how he's already given, I'm looking at Nex.
Okay.
Nex is a strange player in that sense. We always like for those of us who were around when we were still in Mousesports, I always remember him as having a massive impact for that team and being hailed as the next up-and-coming star for Germany, or from Germany. But that kind of petered off. He didn't really have the same kind of performances for a long time, and eventually just got phased out of that team. Ended up in BiG, and he's just very inconsistent. He can be the guy who joins tabseN and dropping 30 frags, and that's when BiG look really dangerous. But it can also be completely anonymous to the point where he barely reaches double figures, which is not something you can have from your second best, or who's supposed to be your second best player or third best player on that side. And he didn't have a good overpass showing whatsoever. It was Gabi doing most of the heavy lifting after tabseN, and that's not really a situation you want to find yourself in if you're BiG. So if BiG is going to have any sort of resemblance of hope in this matchup, Nex has to come out swinging.
I mean, Kiev had a couple of moments on overpass where you thought, okay, maybe he's going to clutch a couple more rounds, maybe have a bit more impact. But when you come up against an informal Oscar, your days are pretty numbered as an AWP. There's not a great deal that you can do. Oscar definitely did slow down on the T-half, but that's where other players started to stand up and deliver instead.
It's like you mentioned during the game, the fact that he never really got a chance to get his hands on an AWP before Stiko and Rops kind of just had slayed the entire team, or slaying the entire team. So, that happens every now and again. It's similar to what we saw with Navia and Inferno earlier today. Simple didn't get, 30 plus frags, but that's because Edward and Flamey were getting theirs. So it's a bit of a give and take relationship with that. But yeah, Keeve definitely is going to play a vital part. Whether or not he wins out the op duel between Oscar and Chris J is a different matter, but he at least needs to be able to pick up something, obviously. And I think it'd be okay if he has a similar performance in that sense as to what he had in Overpass in terms of like how he's performing for himself. He definitely came through big and started that run that Big had, if you could call it a run in the first half. But for me, it's all really on next.
All right, here we go. Mirage, what could be the final map of tonight's proceedings before we get into the hot and heavy semi-finals tomorrow. Still need to find out which team will join the other three to battle it out for DreamHack Winter Trophy. Gonna be big on the T side. Already congregating just outside of ramp, and it's gonna be a fast one. Smoke's already on towards the CT boxes. It's gonna allow Sunny an opportunity though from the stairs to maybe reap a couple of kills. He's actually in connector instead. He's picked up 2 1-taps and he's looking for more, and he will land more. There's 3, just shy of picking up a 4th, but Oscar and Chris J will do the rest. Minimal health left, and just an unreal round by Mousesports.
Sunny's feeling good about himself. I mean, he was probably the most quiet, or the quietest player on the side of Mousesports in that first map, but we definitely could see what kind of skills he possesses. And that's a dangerous sign for Big. And obviously what's really cool with Mousesports right there, you can see so early on, the second they see the smokes, they just set up for a retake position. They know that they can do it in numbers. They have a plan for what they want to do and how they want to go about it if Big were to get the bomb plant down. And they handle that beautifully.
Sunny aggressively peeking into underpass. Just Glocks and the P250 do have 2 smokes, so really the idea for Big is to try and get the bomb planted. Other than that, not too much on the horizon. Sunny may get caught in the side, but again, this is where Glocks and P250 is not necessarily too great. He's given free roam to just started to tee off with the M4. There's one. Not going to get any more for his troubles, but Oscar's just going to come up straight afterwards. He's going to go down to the hands of Tabson as well. This is way more casualties than Mousesports were anticipating, especially considering the weaponry. And now Godby has an M4 in his hands. He can be able to take down another player. Sticko trying to jump up. Won't be getting the frag, but Chris J will. A scrappy round, but Mousesports hold on.
Yeah, managed to survive with 3 players as well, which is the key thing here. Also denying Big the bomb plant. But as you said, with such a limited investment on Big side, they still have to feel pretty good about getting 2 frags in that kind of a scenario and creating some chaos in the ranks of Mousesports. Still not gonna opt in for an early buy, which they could have done with the Lils, maybe UMPs, and a little bit of utility, but they want to get those big guns out and about. And a really quick pace here over towards that A-bomb site. Catches Robs a little bit off guard, but he manages to salvage the situation, finds 2 frags before Oscar chimes in. And now Sunny in place as well. Bombs dropped on the bomb site. Gabi runs into his late demise. And 3-0 is the score for Mousesports.
Well, the map now starts for Big, really. Last 3 have been demolition job. A couple of scares, but Mousesports able to lock on. They don't have an AWP of their own, though. They don't really want to drop the likes of FAMAS or any of these M4s. So in this sense, Keeve is going to have the upper hand at long range. And he looks to peek outside of mid. Going to be an incendiary there to greet him. Where he hops on top of the box. Nearly gets himself the kill. He's going to have to back away, though. He's about to see action from Connector as well.
Things are heating up in mid here. Sunny dodges the Molotov, but next meets Robs. Robs greets him with a couple of bullets to the face. That's the man advantage in favor of Mousesports. Chris J still playing aggressively here on Catwalk, even though the rest of his teammates have actually vacated the area. Keeve's still lurking about. It's also going to be a big contention point, obviously, fighting for mid control. And for right now, it seems like Mousesports are happy with that opening frag that they got.
Sentry down. Gonna isolate Tabson from his teammate in underpass, but they're able to scoot just around the side. Next, the only casualty thus far. Sunny smoked off in window. Can see bullets flying past him, though. They know that Connector is by and large open for business as far as Big are concerned now, so they're going to play more passively. You can see actually 3 players on B, one of which has just been taken out courtesy of Keeve.
Even still, though, a lot of map control or a lot of information from Mousesports here with Rops being so far pushed up already in T-spawn. As long as Sunny's able to drag one down with him to the grave, this should leave Mousesports in a pretty decent position.
Gonna be a flash, but it's not gonna detonate quick enough. And if Sunny had managed to flick to his left and then right and got more kills, that'd have been absolutely disgusting. But he will finally go down. What a shot by Kiev, who's on the prowl for more, but he will die courtesy of Rops, who gets his head taken clean off by GodB. But Chris J answers straight back. It's gonna be a one-on-one with GodB. Going all the way around the back of CT. This is incredibly ballsy. Chris J's just going to hold on to it, and he's going to have the defuse as well. Oh no, GodB! Almost too smart for your own good.
Oh, that's a risky play from Chris J. But the second he doesn't spot out GodB over by jungle, he kind of gets a feeling of what's about to go down. Might actually be, you know, some familiarity between the two there as well, as he sticks to the defuse and gets a 4th round on the board for Mousesports, and that was a massive opportunity for BiG to get things going here. It's still going to get the bomb plant though, so it will amount to a pretty decent buy on there, and no AWP in the hands of Kiev though. Sunny actually doesn't make the jump up to Catwalk. Instead have to do it with Underpass, finds one frag onto Taps, and that's one heavy hitter in the grave. Look at the aggression from Mousesports. Chris J pushing up mid. No fear in his eyes.
Supreme confidence that anyone he faces off against, he will get the upper hand on. That's going to be put to the test, and he passes with flying colors. Leg gear down and out. Rops, if he tosses that incendiary, it's going to cause some problems for the pursuit on the terrorist side of things. They're going to be stuck on Tetris for a while, and it's allowing Oscar now to get in position with his AWP. He's got one already. The player would be wise not to peek him again. They know that Oscar is good enough to land more frags. Chris J takes a bullet for Oscar. He's going to look to try and flash himself out. And there's Rops on top of the toll booth. Mousesports just looking a different level here so far.
Yeah. It's a luxury for Mousesports to have a player like Rops, who's just very smart, can kind of anchor an entire A-bomb site by his lonesome, doesn't take unnecessary risks a lot of the time, and when he does, or when he does actually jump out and tries to get a kill, it's obviously very calculated, and oftentimes gets away with it without having to trade out anything. Early aggression into mid already. Tabson making his way up connector, gets smoked out and found by Oscar though. Now things start to unravel here for BiG. Only GodB left, does pick up a Colt here off the body of Chris J. Has to reload though, so not able to make much headway. Bombs drop down in mid as well, and he's got 4 Mousesports players to deal with.
Pretty much a seek and destroy for GodB right now. And that's going to be a toothless effort, not able to get anything done. Once again, Mousesports come out victorious, but we did see this on Overpass with a 10-1 lead, and then BiG managed to claw their way back into it, and at one point they were, what, 11-8, 11-9? You started to believe.
Well, that is true. That said, though, this is Mousesports' map pick. It does feel like that uphill just got a little bit steeper. Oscar spots the elbow of GodB. Doesn't fire a shot, though. Kiev on his end, trying to venture towards that B apps. I haven't really seen too much action towards this area at all so far from BiG. Stico's actually going to go very aggressive here behind the smoke. This is a bit of a one-and-done position. But then again, he is kind of all by his lonesome from the get-go. Chris J once more being extremely aggressive in mid here, together with Sunny. And this is something Mousesports have done quite often and for quite some time, actually. They love to play aggressive on the CT side of Mirage. You can't really fault them when you see what kind of results they get from it.
I love how aggressive they are. Allows players to be peeking angles that they ordinarily wouldn't. You saw Oscar actually in window, just literally on top of the window, looking into underpass, and he's afforded that because of Chris J's position, because of where Sunny is. They're holding off mid. Now Oscar's going to go peek underpass. Does miss his shot. He's not going to get punished just yet, but finally goes down. And maybe the hyper aggression, not quite the order of play that Mousesports should have been aiming for. 2-on-2, Rops and Stico, Taps and Nex. The two tag team duos that will be facing off against each other, and they're going to push towards the side, but Rops is here, which they know now as they see the flashbang go over. He's eating a bit of damage through the box, and even more so now, down to 37 health, but he still comes out swinging with a kill. Tabson caught in two minds. He's got bullets, a volley of bullets coming from jungle, and Rops, what a hell of a hold that is. It looked like he'd be going down through the box, but gets both frags instead.
Yep. One of the really beneficial things for Mousesports that run is the fact that Stico's able to pick up Legia over at the B bomb site. So even with all the trades not going in the favor of Mousesports in mid, Stico's able to have a quick rotation. They don't have to worry about any sort of a backstab. And yeah, you're right to start sweating right now, Tabson. This is starting to get pretty rough. And a tactical pause has come out already. I have to talk things over. But again, not really in a situation where they can afford to let Mousesports get much of a bigger advantage, but they don't really have the economy to actually support that or to help them in their efforts. I do want to get that off on Kyiv. So another eco coming out, most likely. No, actually, decide to buy up here. Again, very limited utility. No Molotovs as well, which is a pretty vital part of playing T-side Mirage. We're just going to go immediately for that default A execute here. And we see Mousesports have a very clear idea of how they want to play this. Pistol round, it was all about the retake. And we'll see how it plays out now. Nice nade onto Gabi.
Well, gonna just try and hold off for as long as possible. He knows an action is about to befall him. Nade and bullets doing a bunch of damage, but he is going to go down first in this round. Sunny biding his time in the smoke, waiting for the opportune moment to just push through. He can hear the bomb being planted, and Kyiv has been sold. Unreal. He'll be so bitterly disappointed by that play. Sunny's actually going to go for a second kill. I have no idea how the hell Mousesports are in a position where they may actually end up winning this round. I can't believe that Kyiv didn't have any cover. And now Gabi with 22 health. Just hoping for the best, really. Hoping that one of these Mousesports players overextend, give their lives away for free. Oscar's not far off being shot in the head, but finally Chris J will show himself. Unbelievable.
That definitely didn't pan out. And like, Kyiv actually had coverage for quite some time, but Senny just waited till the very, very last second to push through that smoke. Massive risk, considering if he doesn't land this, then BiG are looking at a prime opportunity to grab their first round. Right now, nothing is going the way of the German team.
So they're going to miss the jump, which is pretty much the end of his regression through mid. It's going to be a fast, short play with pistols. They're going to push both short and B app simultaneously. It goes a bit off on that spray, but Sonny will come to the rescue with a kill onto God B. Going to hide in the smoke now. And Sonny will join him. He's had a really good performance thus far. It will be a bomb plant, though, to BiG. One of the worst buys we've seen on their side, but Chris J with a double, leaving Nex and a CZ to clutch a 1-on-3, and 1-on-4, pardon me, it would have been. But it doesn't matter. Rops will put an end to the misery of BiG. 9-0, which is shaping up to be even more one-sided than the start of the last map.
It really is. And yeah, as you said, that was probably one of the more scary situations Mousesports have found themselves in. And if we want to go back to the second time, it felt somewhat scary outside of the 1v1 that Gabi had. It's, again, you know, when they have very limited weaponry on BiG, it's definitely not a good sign. And again, you know, talked about the start of Overpass, how pretty much nobody on BiG managed to find any frags. It's the same kind of a story here as Sunny finds Kyiv immediately to start off the round.
So BiG finally get another buy. Kyiv down instantly on the back foot. Up the creek without a paddle. And a big gaping hole is starting to open up in that canoe. They are trying to fill that gap up with a couple of kills. They're going to go down to a 3-on-3. There's Sticko with a quick peek before the smoke has a chance to do any damage towards his vision. Legia pushing through the B-apps, has to wait a little bit longer before Godbeat can get into his own position as he's coming through on short side. Sticko again, looking to pounce with a spray. He's going to get one and both of them. And there's really not much you can say about BiG in terms of optimism. I mean, this has just been, again, just a demolition job.
Yeah, I mean, we did paint a pretty grim picture going into Mirage. But, you know, you kind of see the reason why it hasn't been much of a battle so far. And it seems like Tabson's, you know, reaching his limit at this point. It does get tiring getting a beating like this and feeling like you're not actually getting anywhere no matter what you're trying. And it hasn't been for a lack of attempts really on BiG side. But they're really just running into an aggressive wall from Mousesports in a lot of these rounds. Just the catwalk aggression, especially from Mousesports, has been paying off in a big way most of these rounds. Whenever they've tried set execute towards A, Rops have been doing a very solid job of holding people off. Sunny has chipped in as well at any given instance, and Oscar obviously as well whenever he's given the opportunity. We'll take that gladly.
I mean, as you say, they've tried to mix it up. They've tried to go aggressive on B. They're trying to play out mid, on A. This Mousesports are all performing. You've got Sunny, both the Orpas now rocking it. Rops has been fantastic. Sticko's landed a bunch of big frags. I mean, Mousesports, this kind of form on Mirage, they look almost unbeatable. This is very impressive indeed.
Well, it's good to see that they're maintaining their form from online leagues and whatnot, taking it into LAN performances. Chris J in familiar territory, moving up towards catwalk, see if he can get aggressive. Doesn't matter if he has a rifle or an op in his hand. This time though, Stico's still being left alone. That's a bit of an anchor towards the B bomb site. He might be running into a bit of a nasty surprise here as BiG. Actually, it was looking like they wanted to have a bit of a tag team duo moving over towards the B apartments, but decides to think better of it after throwing down one smoke. It does drag Chris back though from his aggressive position on catwalk, so a little bit more leeway to work with here in mid.
Trying to manipulate the positions of Mousesports to see if they can make the most of it, but now Chris J realizes, okay, nothing's coming towards B, that smoke is dissipated, and now Sticko's pushing through B apps himself. Chris J is going to miss out on that shot, but again, they're basically just nailing BiG into positions where BiG can't get anything done at arm's reach, allowing the long-range weaponry to come into fruition, and that's what Chris J is going to do with 2 kills. And now Sunny from connected, that Molotov's not going to affect him just yet. He's okay to stand in the same position all over again. Tabson with 1. We're going to need some special magic from Tabson if they want to clutch, and to be fair to him, he landed a couple of crisp headshots, but just too many adversaries to deal with. 11-0, and now the question to me becomes, can BiG even win a round here on Mirage?
That's a pretty grim way of putting it, but you're not wrong. It really has felt like a complete one-way. Well, it's been one-way traffic for the entirety of this first half, and not a lot of positive points really to look at for BiG. They've gotten close a couple of times, obviously. First buy round with Gabi, and then Taps in a 1v2, but outside of that, it hasn't really been a lot to glimmer at. Oscar with that aggressive setup again. Doesn't really have the same setup as SK likes to do with Fallen, as he would have had a teammate in his back, but Rops is not far off.
Because Sticko is just so damn good on B site, they can effectively have full confidence. They can leave him by himself, which is allowing them to play more of an A-centric defense. Oscar's seen the player, decides to shoot, isn't too sure about his surroundings. No one was watching Palace. And now the smoke's come into play. Oscar close range with the AWP. That's a lovely shot onto God B. Nex is going to claim a frag, but Oscar's going to pick up a second. Exquisite shots, but he's just going to get overran. And now it's up to Sunny to finish off the rest. Only good for 1. BiG could very well pick up the round here. But again, they've been in similar situations. 2 Deagles up against an AK and an AWP. And to make matters worse, Tabson's been taken off the table. Legia, do you have the clutch within you? No, is the resounding answer. Mousesports continue to steamroll. 12-0 now.
Stico's going to have time to pick up that op, most likely. If they want to go for the double upset of once more, actually doesn't find it. But then again, money is not an issue if you're Mousesports at this point. Oscar's going to have no issues buying up one for himself. Well, it is getting hard, and you are stretching really to find any sort of positives for BiG here to kind of try to salvage this. I guess there's still, you know, room for them to get 3 rounds and create a bit of a cushion, even if they were to lose the second half pistol. But when that's all you have to grasp at, it's pretty dire.
Oscar this time is going to be occupying B apps. He's already taken down Kiev, who has really struggled so far on this map. I mean, the fact of the matter is he's 3 for 13. And we highlighted him as one of those players that They really needed to step up and deliver on Mirage to try and contend with the likes of Oscar and Chris J. So far, definitely hasn't. And Rom Nade looked like it would have done a lot of damage to tabseN, but he must have just been around the corner. But again, BiG haven't really stamped any kind of authority in this round. Losing the first player, having Legia down to 35. Gonna get control over Catwalk again, but typically Mousesports have been fine with that. BiG have got into these positions before, they've just been unable to really capitalize on it or do anything with their aggression. Chris gonna peer across into short. Hasn't seen anything as of yet. Is gonna spot ahead, but tabseN answers back with the AWP. Was dropped from Kiev. Now tabseN showing him how it's done.
Oscar venturing aggressively into B halls here. Not going to find anything though, because pretty much the entirety of BiG is on Catwalk. They do have one player working his way up through underpass. Sunny's going to find the first frag though on tabseN, so that's the AWP gone. Oh, Oscar.
That timing's probably going to cost him his life. Sunny at least is able to return fire. Time is scarce. The terrorists have got to get this bomb, and they've got to go straight to the site and plant it, and Sticko has taken the bomb down. Legia cannot get this round clutch. He just wants to save an AWP at this stage, but he's not going to be able to do that. And even if he had, we're getting to the stage now where saved weapons mean nothing. Rounds are everything.
Yeah, it's been that kind of a territory for BiG for quite some time now. And obviously Legia dying after the time runs out puts him at 1,800 bucks, so normally, while BiG would have been okay to buy again because of the max loss bonus, it's not going to be the case for Legia. He's going to have to opt for ZZs and utility. And it's just going from bad to worse, really.
Playing for pride at this stage for BiG. They don't want to lose 16-0.
Well, that's never fun. Rops.
Actually not at LAN.
Oh, Rops nearly gets caught out, but instead it's 2 quick frags in favor of Mousesports. Just anything BiG tried to attempt just goes horribly wrong, but tabseN doing his damnedest finds Oscar through the wooden plating.
Continues to be the beacon for BiG. He's landed a lot of nice kills in this map, even though they've been battered. And Sticko will put the last nail in the coffin.
Oh. I think we talked about how it's kind of a given that tabseN's going to perform. He's sitting at 13 frags, 14 deaths.
That's rough.
So he's doing what he can, but there's quite the sizable gap.
There's 8 kills between him and the next player on his team.
Yeah. And then next, it was kind of the linchpin for this to have any sort of realistic hope. Definitely not having a game of it. Well, Mousesports eyeing that 15-0, but this time around, opening frag finally goes the way of BiG. Gabi to open things up, gets traded out by Oscar though. Sunny goes down. Oscar, last bastion of defense for now.
And he's going to get picked off by Nex. So BiG actually have a player advantage. With the bomb in hand, looking to traverse across to the site, and they are going to get this plant down. I say that. Oh, Sticko probably should have had the kill. And now Chris J. 1 on 3. Not going to get it done. And BiG, they will not get 16-0 today. And of course, it's going to be a 14-1 halftime scoreline to Mousesports, but at least it's not a clean sweep.
Crowd appreciates the one round that BiG gets. You know, give credit where credit is due. It was a hard-fought round, but they managed to get it eventually, and obviously it's do or die from the get-go of the second half, and you do wonder what they're actually going to be able to come up with here to hold this off. It's not like you can necessarily craft a masterpiece of a CT side to full perfection where you actually know what Mousesports are doing at any given time. Because Mousesports right now have so much room to work with. They can pretty much free roam it and play it off here as much as they want, so there's no real sense of understanding what's going on for BiG. Can't necessarily pick up any tendencies before it's too late.
But it's not as if Mousesports are amazing on CT side but stuck on T side. Like, these guys are just as good on the T half. It's not going to get any easier for BiG, and they have 0 room for error. They mess up and that's it. I mean, it's all over.
It's brutal, but that's the reality that BiG find themselves in. Let's see if they can actually pretty up the score at least to start.
Could be aggression on the cards. Just Rops watching for a mid push. Sunny alongside Oscar, looking to barrel their way into the apps. Keith is going to be waiting, and he's about to see a lot of action. Decides better of it, doesn't want to stick around and get swarmed by Glocks. Instead, he's going to pull back, and Gobi, who is trying his damnedest to get them back into this, has picked himself up 3 frags. Rops, the player that initially went to mid, is now trying to go over the corpses of his teammates to clutch glory. Oh, the jaws of defeat, and Gobi has picked up a 4K.
I love the fact that Gob's just actually like blowing off his hands, getting a little bit hot.
But god damn.
But you know, as funny as that is, the sad part about it, even though they're laughing about it, is the fact that him getting 4 kills is almost doubling his frag total from the first 15.
Oh no, man, you didn't have to do that.
But to be fair, 4 very nice frags on the side of Gobi, and if you're big at this point, you just have to take what you can get.
That's just a dose of reality I didn't need. But to be fair to BiG, they're still putting bullets to faces.
They started to, at least. And a man advantage is what they're looking at right now. They do obviously have the weapon advantage going into this round as well. Sunny's just made his way up on A. I'm not really sure what Next was looking at, but it was definitely not the A pit, and that's going to result in 2 frags going in the favor of Mousesports. So that man advantage we were talking about, that's been erased rather quickly. Low HP though on a lot of the members, and Gob is going to take advantage of that. Chris J goes down. Rops still, you know, venturing about in T-spawn, picking up the bomb that was kind of left alone. I don't think Mousesports expected to find this kind of a success on the A bomb site. Now it remains to be seen what Sunny can actually do if he can keep the 2 players on BiG here. It's going to get spotted out by Keeve, but that should still be enough time for Robs to get a bomb plant down here. So for Mousesports, very successful round.
Yeah, for sure.
And Rob still has the opportunity to do some magic with his Deagle. Can get into a nice after plant position, and all he needs is 2 bullets to connect at the right time.
Desert Eagle, and the way that Robs has been playing thus far this map, you wouldn't put it past him. The downside is with 11 health, it just takes 1 stray bullet and he's a dead man. But already BiG have done a lot of damage. Or I should say Mousesports done a lot of damage to BiG. Slightly off Robs, but he's actually forced the player away from the defuse. He doesn't expect the van push, and that is going to cost him his life and cost Mousesports the round. It's going to be close though. But Mousesports have got it.
Yeah.
But it is going to hurt their economy going forward. They lost 3 players, 3 weapons, 3 Kevlars, all eradicated, a thing of the past. It's good to see that Gobi and Keeve are still smiling and still trying to stay optimistic.
And that would have been one hell of a way to actually go out or let Mousesports get onto map point, you know, losing to an eco like that. But yeah, definitely already gaps in the defense of BiG being shown there. Sunny just casually walking up the A bomb site. This time though, bit of a better start. Tabson finding Oscar with a nade connection, also doing a lot of damage. But again, Sunny has just made his way onto the A once more.
Oh, wow. Flash has destroyed leg here as well. Fortunately for him, there was no terrorist to back it up. Chris J is going to drop the bomb out. Drops for the clock. Taking player down to his limit, and Sunny is going to pick up a 3rd kill. UMP trades across with the Deagle, puts players in their place. But again, similar to the last round, almost identical actually. Last time it was Rops that made the long trek around, and it was Sunny that was on A trying to waste as much time as possible. Now it's Sticko that's in connector. He's waiting for someone to cross and see if he can put his own Deagle in play. But Sunny should get this bomb planted. He's not stopping for anybody. And indeed he shall. It's going to be planted for short. Keeve and Gobi looking to push back in again. Keeve through kitchen. Gobi just behind him. Sunny is going to trade across the UMP at close range. And you've got to say that Mousesports, they could very well win this round. Sunny's put them in position where it is definitely a possibility. And he's going to take down Keeve as well. He's actually on for the ace. Gobi's being tagged in the backside. Sunny's very close to landing. It's going to be coming wrapped around the corner, but can't get the clutch. But the downside for BiG is that Gobi's also been tagged down incredibly low, and he doesn't have a kit. He's a dead man. Sunny, take a bow.
What a man, what a round. Sunny, with round before, casually strafes up into A. This time makes it a little bit harder on himself, but he's up for the task for stunning kills from the Finn. My word, we talked about, you know, horrible ways to go down if you're BiG. That was definitely one of them.
the Molotov.
Yep.
Nice shots by Legia, but Oscar's always going to be fancying himself to land the return frag as soon as Legia shows himself. And Nova in play. Mag 7 tossing away the weapon, making sure Big can't get their hands on it. As bare bones as you could really ask for. Just 2 nades, both of them are flashes, no kits. Typically teams in this kind of scenario will go for some kind of aggression, but Big fairly static in their lineup. Rops with a frag onto Tabson. 1 step closer to the semi-finals in tomorrow's matchups. Starting to congregate just outside of ramp now.
Yeah. Congregate is also what Big are doing. Gathered up for now. Seems like Q's want to check up on what's going down on B. Not going to find anything though. Mousesports are making their way as a group towards A.
Oscar going to be peering out first. God, B's looking for the right angle to fire with his Max 7, but he got too focused on that 1 kill and it cost him. Keeve at the back of the site now on CD boxes, going to get spotted and will get fragged. And Mousesports from strength to strength, body Big. 16-3. We said it would be hard. I didn't expect it to be that difficult for Big. And Mousesports romp towards the semi-finals.
Yeah, convincing showing from Mousesports, and honestly, with how that game planned out, you'd have to say that Big were actually lucky to get 3 rounds. That's just the kind of domination that was displayed by Mousesports in that game. So they make their way to the semifinals, and yeah, you asked me after the Na'Vi game if that was, a convincing enough performance for me to kind of put them off the rankings. I wouldn't agree with that, but Mousesports performing like that, that's definitely, something to feel good about going into tomorrow.
Absolutely, and maybe an indication that just stay clear of Mirage. Don't give them Mirage.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Whatever happens. Haha. Either way,
yeah,
it's going to be Mousesports moving through to the semi-finals, and well, that was probably the most clinical performance that we've seen so far from a team.
Definitely so, and I think the keyword is team, really. The fact that everybody showed up, so that was fun to see.
Right, well, we have Pala, who has an interview lined up with one of the victors, so take it away, Pala.
Thank you, Vince. Chris, let's get it whilst it's hot. Mirage CT side 14-1. What happened?
Well, we just played good, I feel like. I don't know, we feel comfortable in Mirage. We know it's not one of their best maps. Everybody communicated good. We had a good idea what they were planning to do, and we just shut them down every round. So, yeah, just went according to plan, I guess, I'd say.
But even on Overpass, which was their map pick, it did seem a bit one-sided at times, and the scoreline at the end seemed to be quite a bit in your favor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, people don't really see Overpass as a good map for us, I think. But we actually like to play Overpass. I mean, Oscar, Robs, I think like most of the guys in the team really like to play the map for themselves. So we just feel good. We have started to practice it recently, but we don't have so much practice on it yet. We have not played many officials on it, but the players just feel good individually on the map, So if we start rolling on the map, we're just gonna do good as well. And yeah, we showed it today.
Yeah, coming off yesterday and then moving into today, was it a change of mindset? Was it approaching the game in a different way, strats? What did you change?
I don't know. I don't feel like we changed so much. I don't think we underestimated Envy yesterday either, but they just had a really good game plan against us. And yesterday we just, during the game, didn't realize what to do against how they played. They attacked inside a lot. They faked us a bit. Their players were obviously on point, but they just had a good idea how to play against our trained CT side. And after the game, we realized some things, how to do it better, but during the game, we just couldn't figure it out early enough. And yeah, they just showed they're really good on train, so props to them.
Yeah, and so going on from here, then, you will be playing against Gambit tomorrow. Gambit, of course, major winners. They are a team that seem to be reaching heights at times that it is needed. Do you think you can take them out here?
I mean, I think they're really in good form. I mean, obviously it was a close game against Na'Vi, but I think the win against Na'Vi for them really pumped them up. I think they're really focused on winning this tournament, so it's going to be really difficult to beat them. But we beat them before in best of 3, so I don't feel like we don't have a chance. Actually, I think we have a really good chance. But it's going to be difficult nonetheless because they're just really good players, and when they're really focused and really motivated, it's always going to be hard against them. So it's going to be fun to play, but difficult.
Yeah, and so let's say you do make it past the wall that is Gambit. Who do you think you could potentially be playing out of Envious and Na'Vi?
I guess I would say Na'Vi. I don't know. Envy also has a really good chance. I mean, like I said, they're a good team. On some maps, they're better than good. But I don't know. I feel like Na'Vi with the new lineup has a slight edge.
Okay, and then final things then. Chris, with regards to yourself personally, what have you been up to recently? How has your team's practice been, etc.?
Well, sadly, we haven't been able to practice much. We've been working hard on the life of Martin. We had some disputes over the publishing rights with a guy named Pala. But we're getting this sorted out, and we're getting in shape.
All right, fantastic. Well, it looks like you guys are in a good position. Chris, any final words to everybody watching, the crowd that have been so kind to still hang around, anybody watching at home?
We love you guys.
There we go. Chris has said it himself. Best of luck in that semi-final, my friend. All right, Trez, it's been another fantastic day. We've seen 4 best of 3s, and tomorrow we will see 3 more. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, that's right. 4 best of 3s, and ultimately this wasn't the first time that Chris J grabbed a W today. He was able to triumph over my colleague here in Chad in a game of paper, rock, scissors. And ultimately, I think that's what fueled the Mousesports victory here. What do you say, Chad?
Yeah, definitely so. Demoralizing for me, but fantastic for Chris J and the Mousesports guys to get that scissor, paper, rock victory. And then now this one here against BiG.
Well, guys, I don't think we could have forecasted a second map being such a landslide, but let's talk a little bit about this best of 3.
Well, it was just a domination from Mousesports the entire time. They started out well on the overpass CT side and got, I think it was 11 rounds. BiG made like some sort of comeback. They made it a competitive game, but then again, Mousesports just proved to be the stronger team. A map that BiG should win, like no matter what, if they should stand any chance, because as Chris J said, Mirage is not one of the best maps, and Mousesports have been notoriously known for being, I wouldn't say guards, but pretty good on Mirage, you know, so not really any playground for BiG to go up against Mouse.
You got to see the individuals of Mousesports stand up on the CT side of Mirage as well, everybody chiming in, but there's one boy who I got over here on the drawing board, brought to you by Samsung, getting it done. Right now we're going to delve on in, we're going to look at a little play here by Sunny. I don't know if I've caught production off guard.
Nope, you didn't. You did great.
All right, so we're going to play this one out. So I want to focus on Sunny here. You can see him. I'm just going to circle him just so you can tell what's going on. Execute coming in from the guys from old mate BiG over here. Now, Rops is going to go down early, but I want to talk about how Sunny plays around these smokes. He's one little guy in the chaos, in the thick of it, getting the frags done. And see Rops, he's dead. See you later, mate. You're out of the equation. Now, this is where Sunny, he's pivotal. You can't really see him there, but he's hidden in this smoke. His play is going to be to pop flash through, or I don't even know, maybe he pop flashed it on the second time, but basically take down the planet, which is going to be key. That allows his teammates to rotate in quickly. Oscar's already here to chime in, and Christian is going to clear middle, so all the focus can be on this A bomb, so everyone can be ready just to kill these dudes with lots of red lines. So we'll clear that. This is where the frags come in. This is where playing around smokes and not covering your teammate properly really comes into play. There he is, that perfect timing. Sonny steps out, bang, you are dead. Now the chaos ensues. Sticko comes in, nades are chiming in left, right, and center, and everything falls apart as Sunny's able to grab another. And I just want to give him props for a fantastic map on Mirage, and he's going to take my monster MVP for the day.
So kind of you, Chad.
Thank you very much. Sellout mode truly activated.
Hashtag sellout. Better see it in chat a couple times. Go ahead and talk to me about these numbers, though, Pimp, because when we look at these numbers, there you go. I mean, start where you will.
I mean, Legia had a rough time, right?
Next as well, let's not just get on the Legia, definitely not hate train by any means, but he had a bad game, and Next as well, over 2 maps, only grabbing 16 and 10 frags respectively, couldn't really get going, and that's not what you want to see.
Positive sign from Mousesports is that, as you said, all of them pretty much stepped up at some point, you know. Even Chris J coming in, Sonny had one hell of a CT start of Mirage, and Oscar, for the first time in this tournament, looked like the old Oscar we know, you know, dominating with DVP and doing well.
Wait, I read that right? Legia had 10 frags?
Next had 16.
Huh.
And he's supposed to be the second star of that team.
So they had a rough time, but they were dictated to by Mousesports. That's something you have to look at, right? The clip I just showed here on the drawing board by Samsung just shows, you know, how the confidence, how those players were coming out time and time again. They were doing it across the board. They weren't afraid to take duels, and they were finding the opening kills without any dramas. Not even Tabster can stand up to anyone on Mousesports, really.
Not even Tabson.
Not even Tabson.
The lone, well, I wouldn't say the lone hope.
Well, the greatest German player that we currently have in existence in CSGO. He definitely gets the props there.
He gets the props there. Well, let's go ahead and look at the playoff bracket, because now that we have the full picture painted, Envious Na'Vi followed by a little bit of Gambit and Mousesports, now that Mousesports has found that big W in that last best of 3 of the day here. Ultimately, though, our first game will be Envious and Navi. And guys, I'm just going to put you on the spot right now. Who's walking away with this whole thing?
Hold up, mate. We got to go home. We got to do more of our research. We got to get our laptops in the hotel, and we sit there, we do the analysis, we really get it done. We stay up till 3 a.m. and then we decide.
What he said.
Okay, you know what?
Take our job
I'm
seriously,
really over these guys at this point. And you know, honestly, I think you can do a lot of your research over on the Strafe app. Head over to strafe.com and check out this app right now. That's right, you can get all the latest and the greatest updates with all your favorite teams, tournaments, organizers, the whole kit and caboodle. Make sure you head over there, grab it in the iOS store or the Google Play Store on your favorite device. That's right, it's not even limited to your cell phone. It's also capable on any device you can think of. Either way, guys, we're going to go ahead and cut it off for today. Thank you for being here with us. We'll be back tomorrow with the semis and the grand finals here at the DreamHack ASTRO Open Winter 2017. We'll see you then.